5'9" with the real red eyes, and we dying inside. Oh, bodies in fluoride.
What is good, y'all? This is JV here, and I'm back with another album review for you guys. Today we're getting into a little K-pop, a little K-R&B. We got Crush with his newest release, Interlude. A little background on him. Korean R&B singer, debuted in 2012, I believe, with the song Red Dress. Been a big fan of this dude, you know, killing it over there on Amoeba Culture. Crush on You to this day is one of my favorite Korean album releases, you know, ever. I think it's just a fantastic album from top to bottom. And so he's finally back with a new project, a mini album at that. In between the span of Crush on You and Interlude, we got the songs like Oasis with Zico. We got Don't Forget with Taeyeon. You know, these are just absolutely fantastic songs, which I wasn't sure if it was going to get put onto this project, and he did. And he gave us 5 original tracks, 2 music videos, which is really impressive for the fact that it's just a mini album. As of right now, I gotta say that this mini album is fantastic. My only complaint with it, to be honest, is probably just how short it is. The fact that it's only 5 tracks, and I would have loved for another full-length release. And at some point, you know, he will have a full studio sequel or follow-up to Crush on You, and I can't wait for that day. But for now, you know, he fed the streets with 5 new tracks. So this is gonna be a relatively quick album review. To be honest, you know, there's only 5 tracks, and I'm gonna give you know my overall thoughts going track by track, how I usually do. So let's just get started. We got In the Air, fantastic track, man. I gotta say, for this project as a whole, before I get into this track, I gotta say that one of the saviors of this album, something that I don't think has ever seen from Crush before, is the production, man. This production is the cleanest I've ever heard from him. This is the most just anthemic, it's the most impactful, it's just everything is mixed and mastered to perfection on this project. That as much as I love Crush on You, I don't think to this level does it really, you know, match up. So again, we have In the Air, great summery vibes, man. It has a nice, you know, light drum intro on it, and I don't know if it's just me, but I was definitely getting like Benzino vibes from it. I was getting like Primary-esque kind of production on it, you know. Shout out to Primary, big fan of his work. He didn't do this beat, but yeah, I was definitely getting like Benzino up, you know, summer vibes. Loved this track, man. It was an amazing way to start off the album. I was hearing it, I was like, all right. And there's something about when he comes in with the chorus, man. This is some of the best vocal stylings I've heard by him, period. And it's not so much about like technical ability, just like the way he's coming in accordance with the beat, man. It just meshes perfectly, man. So In the Air, fantastic track, man. A great way to start it off. Then that brings us into the first single. He pushed two singles along with this album. Both got the music video, and that was Woo Ah and 9 to 5. So let's get into Woo Ah. Love this track, man. This is what I would call a pretty traditional Crush track. It definitely sounds like something that could easily have fit on Crush on You. Not saying that there was no progression since then, but he definitely stays true to his sound. He sounds very comfortable. He sounds very in pocket. Yeah, man, this is an amazing, beautiful piece. There's something about like that, those precise piano touches on the first half of the track, and then on the second half of the track, the beat switches up and it turns super guttural and atmospheric and ambient, which I gotta say, there's definitely an atmosphere to this mini album that we saw. I would liken it to maybe like G-Soul's album, what he does with that. I feel like Crush did with Interlude, where the entire project definitely has a vibe to it. I feel like I'm kind of like in a room surrounded by like some stars and shit like that. Like it's just a beautiful vibe to this, and it's really encapsulated in this track Woo Ah. Followed up by 9 to 5 featuring Gecko. When I first heard it, I was a little skeptical. It's not that I disliked it per se. On this one, he definitely approaches it more like a hip-hop angle on this one, and he's not overtly rapping, but that we do get that on this album, something that we never really gotten to as much an extent with Crush, is that he's kind of like doing this rap kind of similar, because it's not like Tory Lanez per se, who's straight spitting and singing, or like a Zico or a Jay Park. We're getting, you know, that rap cadence with melody. So Dean definitely, falls in that kind of way. Unlike, Zion T, who doesn't really do that. Bumpkey doesn't really do that either. We definitely get that in 9 to 5 here. Only thing is, I'm not really a fan of him and auto-tune together, and I'm not one of those people who hate auto-tune by any means. There's definitely some artists who benefit from it. Shout out to T-Pain, Wayne in his prime, and like, oh wait, there's certain people who could definitely utilize it. There's people like Future who definitely use it to their benefit. But then I feel it's strange because he has an amazing voice, and I feel like auto-tune can either make you or break you. You know what I mean? There's very few cases where I feel like people fall in the middle, and I feel like with this one it actually worked to his disservice. Again, I don't dislike auto-tune, I wasn't feeling it, and it's weird because as somebody who sings so effortlessly and falls into the pocket and melody so easily, I feel like the auto-tune at times kind of took him out of the melody, kind of made it feel a little disjointed at times, over the central kind of vibe of the song. But I definitely like the cadence. I definitely love the instrumentation on this. And then Gecko from Dynamic Duo, if you're not familiar with him, never heard a bad Gecko voice verse. You can never go wrong. And this is not the first track they've made together. I believe, wasn't he on Hug Me on his last project too? So again, this is not their first time together. He comes in and he absolutely murders it. So that's definitely one of the saving graces of this track. If I had to say a least favorite track on the album, it'd probably be 9 to 5. Again, y'all know I'm all about this hip-hop shit, but I just wasn't really feeling the way he was sounding. It sounded a little bit robotic. It sounded disjointed. Maybe he just needs some more time to familiarize himself with that kind of style of singing. A lot of contemporary R&B artists, even ones who could sing, definitely even still incorporate some auto-tune. I've heard, very popular people like Chris Brown, for example, utilize it sometimes to their benefit, other times, not to their detriment. And I feel like Crush maybe with some time could perfect it, but I think personally with Crush, he should probably stick to just his natural voice, or maybe some small modulation here and there, pitch correction and stuff like that. But straight auto-tune, I wasn't feeling it. Next we have Castaway featuring Miso. We need to give props to Miso, man. Her voice on that had to be like the first friggin' 75% of the track is so beautiful. The vibe is so perfect, man. Like, the only way I can describe the song is aesthetic, man. This song has an aesthetic, man. If any song needed a music video on this project, it had to be Castaway, man. And I was definitely feeling that just from a lyrical standpoint, and just the title alone, Castaway. There was a vibe to it. There was a loneliness to it. There was a longing to it. There was an emotion to it. It was so impactful in her voice, man. You could hear just that raw emotion in her delivery, man. She did a fantastic job. And I'm not too familiar with who Miso is. I don't even know if it's a female for sure, but that voice sounded like a female's voice to me. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Definitely would like to look into her work a bit more. Loved the chemistry between her and Crush though, and then Crush comes in on the second half of the track and leads it out, and that instrumental, man, can we talk about it, man? That to me is the pinnacle of production on this album, man. Like, can you get more layered than that? If you just hear the little detail oriented touches in the beat, man, it was fantastic. And then we ended off with Dust, man. Shout out to this track. Can we talk about that bass? That joint hits hard, and this is the second example on this project of Crush demonstrating a little bit of cadence, that definitely hip-hop flavored and trap inspired kind of production and delivery on his end. We definitely get some vocals on the chorus that he did a fantastic job for. So it was a great way to lead out. He did an amazing job kind of structuring this album, having In the Air started, having Dust ended off, 9 to 5 right in the middle, Woo On, Castaway, as buffer tracks in between. I couldn't arrange it better myself. So I gotta say, in summary of this album, I think it's an amazing album. Y'all know, maybe I'm biased, you could say, because I'm just such a big fan of Crush and what he does. And I gotta say, if you're an R&B fan, forget K-pop, forget K-R&B. If you're an R&B fan, period, and you're not too familiar with Crush, I highly suggest you check out this project. It's 5 songs, so it's not a huge investment. As soon as I listened to it the first time, I immediately pre-ordered it physically. I'm like, I need this album. And as of filming it, it released yesterday in our time, today in Korean, whatever, on the 11th. And yeah, man, I just thought it's a fantastic project. I look forward to hearing another full-length studio album. I could definitely hear myself probably listening to this just as much as I listen to Crush on You. Crush on You is probably one of my most listened to albums ever, I gotta say, front to back, because there's literally no skippables. This project lacks the versatility of Crush on You, the fact that he tried out so many different genres on Crush on You. But again, this is 5 tracks long, and if he experimented, every song was a different genre, then it maybe come off a little bit not super cohesive at all. So I like that there was an established vibe from it. Curious as to what y'all thought about it, so in the comment section below, let me know what you think about Crush. What do you think about this album? How do you think it compares to his previous work? Let me know what you thought. Till next time, this is JV. I love you guys. Bye.